Hey Jack, yeah, it's Kisser here. 2016 just called, and they want the dab back. Hey Kings fans, my name is Jordan Kiss, and welcome back to Kings This Week as the Kings open up the regular season with 2 games against the Nanaimo Clippers last weekend here at home, and provided us with plenty of goals, a couple hits, and some pretty nice sellies as well. So let's dive right into it with the weekend recap. So on Friday was the home opener for the Kings as they played in front of a packed house here at the Hap Parker Arena, but it would be the Clippers who got the first goal in this game. Just under a minute to play in the opening frame, William Gendron finishing off a backdoor play to give the Clippers the 1-0 lead heading into the second period. They would make that 1-goal lead a 2-goal lead midway through the middle frame when Joel Plant with just a good shot off the rush to beat Kyle Metz, and that made it 2-0. The Kings would make it 2-1 early on in the third period, a minute and 40 in. Carter McNarland with a great shot from the left circle to beat Clippers goaltender Aidan Campbell. It was 2-1 from that point on. It would be a close game as the Kings looked to battle back through the remainder of the period, but the Clippers would make it 3-1 on a tough break for the Kings. Joel Plant just making a centering pass and unfortunately hit the stick of Carter McNarland and went into the back of the net to make it a 3-1 nominal lead, but Carter would make up for that error just a few minutes later on the power play. Just another shot from the left side, finding his way through traffic to beat a screened Aidan Campbell, and that made it 3-2. Now, with the momentum on their side, the Kings were looking to get that equalizer. Kyle Metz coming up with numerous big saves with under 5 minutes to play to keep it a 1-goal game, but the Clippers would eventually ice it as Kai Daniels would score the empty netter from his own zone with under a minute to play to seal the deal and give the Clippers the 4-2 win in the home opener. After being the better team in the third period on Friday, the Kings will look to continue that momentum into Saturday, and they got off to the perfect start. Early on in the first period, Carter McNarland will win the offensive zone faceoff. It would go right to Sam Schoenfeld, who would hammer it into the back of the Nanaimo net to give the Kings the 1-0 lead, which they would hold until the second period and would quickly turn it into a 2-goal lead under a minute into the second frame. Marcus Deshevsky would drive to the net, create an opportunity. There would be a loose puck at the side of the crease where Jack Blanchett was there to hop all over it. He would hit the dab on the celly as he scored in his first goal as a King to make it 2-0 for the home team. Now, the Clippers were a resilient bunch here in this game, and they would score 2 goals to tie it up in the span of 37 seconds by Ryland Yates and Brody Waters, but the Kings had some fight in them as well, as they would get the lead back 3-2 after Marcus Deshevsky fed a cross-ice pass to Nick Bricketta, who fired a wrister on net, and it's found its way under the arm of Campbell to give the Kings a 3-2 lead, which they took into the third period. Now, the Clippers would tie it up once again about 5 minutes into the third period. Jeremy Payon from the right circle with just a good wrist shot under the bar and over the shoulder of Kyle Metzen to even the score. But the Kings would get the lead right back midway through the period. Anthony Yu, just from the top of the zone, would fire a rocket of a wrister past Aidan Campbell, popping the water bottle and even having a better celly afterwards, as the Kings seemed destined to end the streak at this point as they took a 4-3 lead, but the Clippers would tie it up with under 5 minutes to play. Kai Daniels would just fight hard to the front of the goal and pot in puck and in the crease to send this game into overtime. And in OT, didn't go the Kings' way as the Clippers would win the opening face-off and never look back. And eventually, 57 seconds in, Kai Daniels would make a drive to the net and slide it under the pad of Kyle Metzen to give the Clippers the 5-4 OT win over the Kings here in game number 2 of the regular season. Marcus Deshevsky and Max Poffin would pick up 2 assists in the losing effort. With their 2 wins this weekend and mark the second straight season, the Clippers have won the first 2 games of the regular season on the road here in Powell River as they've extended their win streak over the Kings to 13 games, which dates back to January of 2020. I know a lot of you are thinking, all right, here we go, another rough season against the Clippers especially. But if you look at the numbers from the first 2 games last year to this year, you can already tell this is a much improved Kings team. We'll start off with the Kings penalty kill. Last year, the Kings going 7 for 10 on the penalty kill in the first 2 games. While this season, through the first 2, the Kings are going 3 for 3, so already much better efficiency, but also more discipline on the Kings side. Now, on the flip side of that, as you go to the Kings power play, through the first two games last year, just going 1 for 14 through two games. Well, this year, 1 for 3. Less opportunities, but again, more efficiency for the Kings. Now let's go to the goals for the Kings. Last year, only scoring 3 goals in the first two games compared to this season through the first two where they scored 6 goals. The goals against, though, is kind of similar with last year giving up 10 goals. This year, only giving up 9, so a little bit better. But the biggest difference here is in the goal differential. Last year, a -7 goal differential compared to the first two games this season, where it's only just a -3 goal differential. As the Kings, despite the 2 losses, are still very confident as they roll into Nanaimo this Friday to take on the Clippers in their own home opener.
Came into our house and they spoiled it for us, so we just want to do it right back. Just the 2 points even would be great for our team. I think we're pretty confident. We know we have to do better. We know we have to learn how to play with the lead and not lay back like we did in that second, let them get back into it. So I think the boys are ready this time to finally conquer the dragon, I guess we could say. Slay it from last year too and get a win against these guys.
And to tee things up for this weekend, the Kings will kick off their road schedule this Friday in Nanaimo to take on their Clippers in their own home opener as they look to spoil the party and end that 13-game losing streak and pick up their first win on the season. Then they'll look to play spoilers again on Saturday as they take on the Bulldogs in their own home opener. Now, the Bulldogs are currently 1-1 through 2 games this season. They picked up a win in their first game last Friday in a shootout in Victoria against the Grizzlies before falling 3-1 to the Capitals on Saturday. Now, the Bulldogs will be back in action this Friday in Duncan once more to take on the Capitals before they return home to kick off their home schedule against the Kings. Now, the Kings will still be without Parker Lalonde, who remains out with an injury, but he is expecting to return next weekend as the Kings return home to face off against the Coquitlam Express. This weekend will also mark the return of the Kings of the Castle podcast, hosted by yours truly, as new episodes will air during all away games this season on the Kings Broadcast Network, BCHL TV, and Mixlr. And if you ever miss a game live, don't worry, I got you covered, as all podcast episodes will be uploaded to our website just a few days following their debut. And if you want to get set for a new season, why not go to our website right now, powellriverkings.com/kingspodcast, to listen to maybe one or all 30 podcast episodes from last season. And to kick things off on season 2 on Friday, you can hear from last year's team MVPs, Casey Yaman and Parker Lalonde. Then on Saturday, hear from new Kings defenseman Will Jones. And that will do it for another episode of Kings This Week. Thank you very much for joining me. Be sure to keep a tab on the Kings social media for the upcoming week for any more news and updates as the Kings get set for 2 more home games next weekend as they take on the Coquitlam Express Friday and Saturday. But don't forget, the Kings on the road this weekend in Nanaimo against the Clippers on Friday, and then in Alberni to take on the Bulldogs on Saturday. Both games will start at 7 o'clock. Pre-game show starts at 6:45 on the Kings Broadcast Network, BCHL TV, and Mixlr. Well, until next time, my name is Jordan Kiss. Go Kings, go.